I did. When I received the call from the papal nuncio, I had just returned home from a 31-mile bike ride.
You do that frequently?
A couple times. Well, before that phone call, I was going out frequently, but my life has changed in the last 2 weeks, so I haven't been out too much. I finally got out this past Sunday and did 15 miles. But I have been known to, if I have the time, obviously as a priest we have a lot of commitments, but we also have to have balance in our life, and it's very important to, I think, take care of ourselves spiritually, but also physically and emotionally. So I enjoy the bike. I've always enjoyed it. 31 would be about my max. That's not, and I would not do that every day. The usual would be about a 15 a couple times a week. I hope I can do that, but I think my schedule is going to get kind of hectic here in Savannah, so I'm not sure if I'll have a lot of time to do biking. But the diocese is 90 counties around the state of Georgia, so they may see the bishop driving around with the bike on the back of the car.
What was your first thought when you got the call?
Very humbled. It's unexpected. He called, and the papal nuncio's name is Archbishop Christophe Pierre. He's from France, and he would be the papal representative here in the United States. And so he calls, and he, asked where I was, and was I alone, and we chatted a little bit. But I realized pretty quickly that he wasn't talking. He wasn't calling to find out how the weather was in Florida that day. So I sat down on the couch, and that was when I realized that it was getting a little more serious, and he, informed me that the Holy Father had appointed me as the 15th bishop of the Diocese of Savannah.
But you recovered okay.
Excuse me?
You recovered okay.
I did. On that bike ride that day, I said an extra rosary. I did the joyful mysteries in addition to the luminous, so something told me to do it, and I said, I think that was probably a good idea that day. But it's very humbling. After the phone call, I went to the chapel at the rectory to pray, got on my knees, and just really asked the Lord for His goodness, for His grace, to be able to, give me what I would need, and for an understanding of what I just said yes to.
Your older brother or younger brother is also a bishop.
My older brother. We're 14 months apart to the day.
Okay.
He's April 2nd, I'm June 2nd.
Who's the first person you called?
Well, you're instructed not really to call anybody except your own bishop. So I called my current bishop, who is the Bishop of Orlando, Bishop Noonan. So I did call him. And then I received a phone call from Archbishop Hartmeyer, my predecessor here in Savannah.
Right.
And then, and he had also the nuncio had also informed my brother, but it's all under what we call a pontifical secret. So you're asked to keep it discreet. You're not able to talk about it. So it's not until the time of the announcement. I also spoke with Father Daniel Furman from here in the Diocese of Savannah, since he would also be informed that this was happening.
Right. He's quite a
Mm-hmm. He was very hospitable and welcoming, and really had a delightful conversation with him before I even met him. We spoke a couple of times on the phone over that weekend.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about the Celtic Cross.
Mm-hmm.
Are you wearing it now?
I am, as a matter of fact.
We need to get a picture of that, please. And that's the one that your brother gave you.
Yes.
So
And it was given to him by Bishop Noonan, who was from Ireland. I visited briefly with my brother before I came here to Savannah, since he was informed of the decision as well and my appointment, and he said, well, when you go, you may want to need a pectoral cross to wear, and so he brought a couple, and he said, which one would you like? I haven't asked him if he wants it back or not, so I may need to ask him about that, but, and I chose this one, it just really caught my eye, and I'm glad I did, because there's obviously a beautiful history, a tradition here in Savannah with St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick being from Ireland, of the patron.
Yes, I read about that.
Yeah, I think you've heard about it.